All right, ladies and gentlemen, we held wrong last night. We're going to try it again. Hopefully, technology cooperates. If it cooperates, I'm looking forward to this one because this is supposed to be really the thing here. When you think about nonstop action wrestling on Sportswire Radio over the past few months, so we've been covering it. These are the two guys right here that are kind of at the center of everything. On one side, we've got Connor Cage, who some may call the Golden Boy. Others, maybe not so much. And then on the other hand, we've got the undefeated lawman, Kyle Kennedy, who's coming off an impressive victory at NSAW Asylum against Mikey Future. But there are some that may say the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, well, maybe he's worked his way into getting this spot here with a contract signing with Mr. Joshua Snow, the chairman of Nonstop Action Wrestling. He's kind of the middleman right now. He's got a tough spot. We'll see here if we can all get it right here in one spot. So, without further ado here on the Sports Report, number one level Sports Show, we have Nonstop Action Wrestling coverage with Joshua Snow, the chairman of Nonstop Action Wrestling, and Connor Gage, along with the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. Gentlemen, how we doing?
I can't complain.
All right, fair enough. I mean, hopefully technology cooperates with us here. And I see a few people tuned in, obviously, from the CCW end of things. And we will get to some CCW in a little while, obviously, with Slugger Hampton, who we obviously know was at NSAW the last time we had an event here at Summertime Slaughterhouse. And good evening, obviously, to everybody who's watching and listening to this here live on Sportswire Radio. And gentlemen, I hope that everybody who's listening to this can tell us if we sound good or sound bad, and we'll try to parcel through all of it here. But, Mr. Chairman, Joshua Snow, we're here, obviously, ready for this contract signing for the winner of this match to be in the Fire and Gold 8-person tournament to crown the company's first ever world-class champion on August the 13th, and set the tables for us on what you hope to accomplish here tonight.
Well, I would like to say, as much as people think that I may be against them, regardless of what my viewpoints are, I'm here as a mediator. I'm here to make sure that the contracts are signed and that everything that needs to happen is going to happen on this very day. Oh, could have done it yesterday, but technical difficulties, we'll say. But regardless, all I want is clarification. Regardless of who wins, we know full well who's going to be walking in to Fire and Gold on August 13th. Whether it be Connor Cage or Kyle Kennedy, matters little to me. Honestly, it matters little to me, regardless of my viewpoints on either of them, regardless of if I like them or if I dislike them. Because in my eyes, both are worthy competitors. But clearly, this is something that needs to be worked out between the two of them. And this is the perfect way to be able to resolve the differences.
And we've got some good news here because we're actually told we're sounding good so far. So people are obviously tuned in, and thank you for that. Pride says the audio issues plaguing your last attempt seem to be much improved. It is with great relish we watch and hope that the lawman Kyle Kennedy and their notoriously short temper manage a second attempt. So the lawman Kyle Kennedy, good to be with you. You have become in some ways a favorite of Sportswire Radio. I mean, I like you for whatever reason. I do like you, the lawman Kyle Kennedy. Well, you bring us ratings. You bring us ratings. You bring us listeners. You bring us viewers. I certainly enjoyed your last match I saw at NSAW Asylum against Mikey Future. Big win. But what do you want to accomplish here tonight with this contract being signed? Obviously, we know we'll get Connor's perspective in a second because, well, this was for Connor's spot. But tell us how you feel right now.
You know, I could keep on repeating how I feel, just like I have the past month or so. You know, but it's already quite highly disclosed how I feel. And Mr. Snow just momentarily mentioned that and I quote, "We know these two are worthy contenders, and yet, for some weird reason, if both of us, I'm gonna give you the short straw here. If both of us, chairman, boss man, were worthy competitors and worthy contenders with 8 spaces available, why not fit 2 of them with the 2 biggest draws in your company right now?" So I find that A, insulting, and B, a load of bullish. I don't believe
Okay.
for a second that you've got my interests at heart and, oh, I know that Kyle is good and a worthy contender. I think that is a load of crap. Because if it was, I'd be in there, and sure, I'll give Connor his flowers. He would be in there too, but I should be in there.
Well, you might be in there certainly if you win the match against the man to our right here, and that is Mr. Connor Cage. And Connor, obviously, I watched your match not too long ago against the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, and there is a point that the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, does have a victory over you. But tell us how you feel right now, and what do you want to say to the lawman, Kyle Kennedy?
I've never denied Kyle Kennedy's ability in that ring. I've gone against him myself, but to try and take my place and try and dispute everything I've achieved up to this point, everything I've grinded towards, I don't have the luxury of having the society behind me every time. I don't have the luxury of size and strength. I have to work twice as hard to achieve everything I've gained so far. So, and I certainly don't have a Richard Knights in a management position to vouch for me. So Kyle Kennedy might even be in this tournament. Other people have been announced, and yet everybody's trying to say that I'm not worthy of this position, that I don't deserve it. I still don't understand that, to be honest.
Can I ask you a follow-up question, Connor? And I have Jenny Hayes in here, and obviously I'll get to Jenny in a second, and I'm looking forward to speaking with Jenny right around this time next Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to getting to Jenny's side of the story. Obviously, very accomplished singer, also has a single out there. But, I mean, for you, Connor, do you feel almost maybe fueled by the critics or even some of your colleagues in the locker room that have kind of said, you know what? Why does Connor Cage deserve this spot? We heard what Disciple had to say. We've certainly heard what the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, has had to say, amongst others here in the NSAW locker room. Do you feel maybe fueled or motivated to kind of shut those critics up?
Every single time. I've always been. That's a big motivator for me, to prove myself. That despite my height, my weight, I can hang with the very best of non-stop action wrestling. I fit that description, non-stop action wrestling, to a T, and I always have. So, yeah, it does motivate me. It motivates me a hell of a lot, to be honest. I'm sorry if I'm getting a bit agitated about it, but this
Well,
means...
that's why we have you here tonight live. That's the whole point. That's why we have a contract signed, to kind of put all the agitation, all the rank back and forth, all the he said, she said, one of them things. We put that all to bed, and we have this match and this signing here with the chairman, Joshua Snow. And Mr. Chair, I almost have to ask, in some ways, as crazy as this sounds, I think that this match very well is kind of a hallmark of what nonstop action wrestling has to offer, because despite what some may say, the lawman Kyle Kennedy and Connor Cage, on both sides, what some may say, these are two of the premier up-and-coming talent, I think, not only in nonstop action wrestling, but all of professional wrestling, because of what they bring to the table, what they've accomplished. Obviously, Connor Cage, seeing his match against JPR, the lawman Kyle Kennedy, everything he's done so far. He's one of the premier up-and-coming talents. He's undefeated right now, so you can say what you want. He is undefeated, and he has certainly been a name. We've seen him now in Blackheart Wrestling. We've seen him in different spots. Connor Cage, obviously, we're going to see next Saturday at the Fountain Church. So I think in a lot of ways, Mr. Chairman, I kind of think that this matchup coming to determine a spot in this tournament, August the 13th, for the World Class Championship, I think in a lot of ways kind of is a hallmark of what nonstop action wrestling has to offer.
Could not have put it better than myself. Honestly, these two individuals, I see you already rolling your eyes, Kyle Kennedy, and that's fine. Roll them away. But these two individuals do represent not just themselves, but nonstop action wrestling absolutely well. There is a reason that we selected Kyle Kennedy to go and represent us at Blackheart. There is a reason that we sent Connor Cage to represent us over at GT Ministries. There's a reason that these two individuals represent nonstop action wrestling. Amongst the others that we've sent, it's that they embody nonstop action wrestling to a T. We wouldn't have sent them otherwise. We could go into the ratings, we could go into the draws, but they're both workhorses. They are both the best of the best. And whilst it may be simple to throw Kyle Kennedy into another spot into the tournament, and I fully acknowledge that, I would like to remind you all that there are more worthy contenders out there who are just as worthy as these two that we have here, who can easily fill those spots as well. It's not like we can have every single individual in the locker room be a part of this tournament. Otherwise, it might as well be a participation tournament. It's just to take pity on every single person who walks through those doors. We have to be selective. This is what it's about. Selective. It's not a word I like to use often, but when it comes to finding the best of the best, that's exactly the right word to use. So to pit these two up-and-coming performers against each other, that's not too much of an ask, especially at the caliber that they are at, and it shouldn't be something they complain about.
Absolutely, no question about that in here. And Jenny Hayes says, do not bite the hand that feeds you, Mr. Kennedy. Slugger Hampton, who's coming on here in about a half hour or so, says, indeed, they are, in terms of just seeing what these guys bring to the table as up-and-coming stars, because, well, Slugger saw it firsthand because he was at Summertime Slaughterhouse, and that's what's also great about Nonstop Action Wrestling is that we have other companies that we work with. The door is open here, and I want everybody to follow Nonstop Action Wrestling on Instagram, NSAW Official, and if you're on Facebook, please like their page and support them because this is a up-and-coming company with some great talent here. We've got Joshua Snow. He's the man behind Nonstop Action Wrestling. Connor Cage, up-and-coming star, also the lawman Kyle Kennedy, who's now been on. This is the fourth time he's been on with us, I think, on Sportswire Radio because people, I guess, seem to like him. And Slugger Hampton's right behind. I mean, he's going to be on next also. This will be, I think, his third or fourth appearance. So, I mean, obviously, he's been on a lot, and that's what we love. We love speaking wrestling here, especially in our UK scene. And also, I want to give a shout-out to Be Strong and Fitness in Swinton because this is where if you watch all the nonstop action wrestling stuff on YouTube or anything else you see, whether it's clips on Facebook or Instagram, that's where all the magic happens. Just like we have the Fountains Church at GT Ministries, just like we have the Buckshot Village Community Center in the LWF or Cloud9 the Lounge at KOW or the Alhambra Lounge over in Morecambe. Be Strong Fitness is the place to be for your nonstop action wrestling coverage. And, of course, that's where it's all going to take place. August the 13th, Fire and Gold, and, of course, that 8-person tournament where we are going to see the company's first ever champion here. And, of course, Uncle Ralph here from CCW. Got to give a huge shout out to Uncle Ralph. Tunes in and says, enhanced by your appearance, bro. Well, I don't know whose appearance that might be, but let's get back to that because, obviously, we love Uncle Ralph, but he'll have to clarify what he meant. Maybe the lawman Kyle Kennedy, maybe it's Connor Cage, maybe it's Joshua Snow. But I did want to ask very quickly here before we sign over the contract between both individuals here. The lawman Kyle Kennedy, I did want to ask you, what did it mean to you to be a part of Blackheart Wrestling in their Rumble this past Sunday?
You know, I'm going to do something I don't do very often. I'm going to get quite sentimental.
Don't cry on us, please.
To be chosen as a member of NSAW, don't get me wrong, I love wrestling. I love NSAW, and now I love Blackheart. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to management, boy, oh boy, I could speak for hours, Mr. Bryce. and we already know my feelings, and boss man over here knows my feelings. But to be chosen personally, and ironically, as much as I slag him off, I'm very appreciative of Mr. Snow over here for personally not even just selecting me to be a member of NSAW, but to be shipped over to Garsley Theatre to attend Blackheart Wrestling. That was a beautiful moment, an amazing day, and boy, oh boy, Blackheart Wrestling, your roster, wow. Oh my word, did they love a fight and bring it to you, and so do I. Blackheart, I cannot wait to come back. So for the whole reasoning of how do I feel and what was it like, it truly made me feel accomplished, like I'd finally done something. You know, clearly Blackheart saw something in me that obviously NSAW doesn't for some reason.
Well,
But-
I mean, that's to be determined on the NSAW part, but I'm happy to see it at Blackheart Wrestling, and some other people are also happy about that here also. And I even got a question for the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, but Uncle Ralph clarifies the appearance of Slugger Hampton. Thank you, Uncle Ralph. I appreciate that for the clarification. Love Uncle Ralph. Jenny Hayes says Blackheart looks like a phenomenal company to be a part of. Absolutely. We love Blackheart Wrestling here on Sportswire Radio, and something tells me in the future we'll be speaking much more about Blackheart Wrestling. So that's a little pipe bomb there. Stay tuned for that. What an impressive show put on by members of NSAW of Blackheart Wrestling. I could not agree more. Our very good friend, of course, the head trainer at Nonstop Action Wrestling, and also a huge part of things over at UKW and GT Ministries, the wild card, Tommy Dillon, says, yes, the lawman Kyle Kennedy can speak for hours, no doubt about that. And I have a question for the lawman. What's I don't know if this is a joke or not, but what's the best thing you've been arrested for? Should I have even put that question out there? I don't even know why
I mean, fortunately, Mama Kennedy raised a good man. So, unlike the rest of the cretins clearly in the comment section, fortunately for me, I've never been even put in the same sentence as possibly going to jail because I'm actually a decent human being. So,
Well, you're a lawman, right? So obviously being a lawman, I mean, if you were...
I pursue my own justice, Mr. Bryce, hence the lawman moniker.
Well, you and I both share a similar thing in common because in New York City, I'm actually what's called a commissioner of deeds. So essentially, I couldn't be a commissioner of deeds if I had been arrested or of any sort. So we both share something in common. But yeah, he says arrested, not jail, but that you just answered the question. So we'll move on from that. But I did want to ask, before we get to the contract signing here, I want to go back to Connor Cage, because obviously, Connor, I wanted to ask you one more time before next Saturday. Just conversely, we heard about what the lawman Kyle Kennedy had to say about being a part of Blackheart Wrestling, and we've seen most, if not close to all of the names so far announced here in GT Ministries for the 30-person Rumble. And also, we'll break it here that we will have on somebody else in the society next week on Sportswire Radio. So stay tuned for that. So certainly stay tuned. That'll be a cue. I'll definitely break that in the segment with Slugger Hampton in a little while. So that'll be a cue. So there will be another society member on next week on Sportswire Radio. So July 13th, you're going to get back-to-back coverage. You're going to get back-to-back coverage. Jenny Hayes and a member of the society. And it's not the lawman Kyle Kennedy this time. It's not, because I don't think we can afford to keep paying him to come on Sportswire Radio. So that's a cue. We'll say that in a little while. But Connor, I mean, what's it going to mean to you next week in the Fountains Church representing NSAW as a part of the GT Ministries Rumble? What's that going to mean to you?
It's going to mean a hell of a lot. Sorry, Albert. Can I say hell? Well, it's going to mean a lot.
You can
to
say
me.
hell. Hell, you could say. You could say it.
I should have probably asked that beforehand.
Gareth Angel may not want to hear the word hell, but it's okay. You can say it here on Sportswire.
It's a huge chance. It's not only to show what I can do in the ring, but also representing Nonstop Action Wrestling. Like, this will be my second chance to do that, and working with, there's like so many different people here. There's going to be GTM themselves. There's guys from BTW there. There's the GTM Academy also is going to be there. Which
Yep.
I trained with them last Thursday. I did actually, and they're really passionate as well. So I'm actually really interested in facing a few of them as well, to be honest. So, it's like the past, present, and future of wrestling right in that. So that's like that's huge to me. That's incredible. I just can't wait for it, to be honest. Like,
Well, me either. I'm very, very excited about that. And it's going to be a little weird, interesting, I guess, if you're a GTM Academy person, when you see Sean Only in the Rumble and he's training you each and every Thursday. So that's going to be kind of a wild moment there. And obviously, that's a cheap plug for the
and Tommy
Academy.
Dillon as well. So
Yeah, but I feel like everybody in NSAW is probably been getting beat up by the wild card Tommy Dillon for, 7, 8, 9 months now. So that's going to be second nature. But Sean Only is a very big deal. And I think the fact that Sean Only kind of right now is almost the head trainer of GTM, that's kind of a big deal to be in the Rumble and share some moments in there with him. So we'll look forward to that. And also, again, shout out to everybody at GT Ministries UK on Facebook, also Instagram, Twitter. Also follow their page. And we'll certainly get into more GTM with Slugger and also DB Riley in a little while as well. But Mr. Chairman, obviously I want to get to the point now. After all the talking, we've heard a little bit here, the back and forth. I want to make it official now here and signing the contract and getting this match here in place and then getting the guys' reactions afterwards. So I think it's a big moment here for Sportswire Radio. It's a big moment for Nonstop Action Wrestling. Let's make it official, Mr. Chair, between Connor Cage, Kyle Kennedy, August 13th. The winner of this match will be in that 8-person tournament to crown our first champion here of NSAW.
Absolutely. You'll find the relevant documents have already been forwarded to each of you. So all I need from the both of you is a signature, whether you've requested it on paper or through email. You should have both of that already. So it's down to you now. I'm just awaiting for your signatures, Kyle Kennedy and Connor Cage.
no hesitation here.
Do you have a pen, the lawman, Kyle Kennedy?
I don't need a pen.
Oh, okay.
Already signed it.
Oh, you did?
Already
Wow, that was quick.
Signed, sealed, and delivered, boss. Check your inbox.
Yep, I've just had that come through.
Wow, tell you what, sign, seal, deliver, I'm yours. That was one of those songs in the 70s. The lawman Kyle Kennedy just could have sang that there. That was well done. And it looks like Connor Cage has got the pen in hand. And anything you want to say before you sign, Connor? Anything that you want to do before you put that pen to the paper?
Be sure you want to do this. Be very sure.
I couldn't be more sure, Kyle Kennedy, to be honest. So,
On your head be it. Sign away,
Yeah.
boy.
enough wasting time, to be honest. Let's get this over with. Done.
Wow, I tell you what, I almost feel like we're in like a prime minister's office or a presidential office when they do they sign the laws. That's what I kind of feel right now. So it's official now, Mr. Chair. I mean, how do you feel, Mr. Chair?
I have to feel impartial about this, regardless of my feelings. This is just business at the end of the day. For Kyle Kennedy, it's a chance for them to be able to be a part of the Fire and Gold tournament. Same goes for Connor Cage, but in this case, it's to retain their spot. The only outcome that I'm waiting on is to see who wins this match. Whether we'll see Kyle Kennedy's streak broken or whether we'll see him enter into the tournament. And that's all there is to it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it here on Sportswire Radio. You got the first ever contract signing, which we saw just now between the lawman Kyle Kennedy and Connor Cage, and the winner of this match will be entered into the 8-person tournament to crown NSAW's first ever world-class champion. And of course, if you want to buy some tickets and you want to come out and see the action at Be Strong Fitness, August the 13th in Swinton, you can go to NSAW Official. You can also go to Nonstop Action Wrestling on Facebook for more information, because this is a company, I got to tell you something, this is a company that I really love what they're doing. I really love the energy. I love the passion. Anytime you go on Facebook and you see wrestlers. They're always training. They're always with each other. I mean, just they do a phenomenal job. Tommy Dillon does a phenomenal job as our trainer. I know our guy Disciple here helps out sometimes. I mean, we had in the past Old School MC2 was a big help. I mean, there are so many people here at NSAW who are doing a great job here. Let's support those who support us here on Sportswire Radio. Also, Mr. Justice Kyle Kennedy. Also follow him on Instagram. Joshua Snow, give him a friend request on Facebook. Connor Cage, Connor_Cage. Make sure you follow this guy because this is a guy, and this is a guy right here that they're going to be doing big things in the wrestling world. They're going to be, who knows where they're going to be. We're going to be little guys on the totem pole when compared to the success that they have here. And Uncle Ralph also says, I am looking forward to my first visit to GT Ministries July the 16th. Jenny Hay says, I'm looking forward to your match, guys, here. All right, so let me ask you guys this question. You've got another about 15 or so minutes. We'll keep the guys a little brief here tonight because we want to get to Slugger Hampton because Slugger's got a lot to say, and he might even say something about the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. Something tells me that he'll have something to say for sure. He will for sure. Slugger Hampton definitely is a man that doesn't mince words. And he's got his own show, by the way. You know what? I'm going to do a cheap plug here because the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, correct me if I'm wrong, you were doing appearances on shows. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, so I'm going to actually do something here that this is a pipe bomb. I shouldn't even do this, but I'm going to do this. A cheap plug here tonight on Sportswire Radio because I got Joshua Snow. I got the chairman of Nonstop Action Wrestling. I've got Connor Cage. I'm pretty sure that's correct, and I'll also have another announcement when it comes to another guest here for Nonstop Action Wrestling next week. I'll do all that in a second, but I'm actually going to do something here. Is, to my word, because, well, I was on the show, Slugger Hampton and the Working Class Militia and Top Tier, they have a show on Facebook as a part of Colory Championship Wrestling. Friday nights around 9 p.m. British Standard Time. I think that Slugger Hampton, if he's looking for more guests, I got 3 right here. I got the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. I got Connor Cage. And, of course, I got the chairman of Nonstop Action Wrestling, Mr. Joshua Snow. So I got to tell you, Slugger, if you're looking for some more guests, if you're looking to continue to open the forbidden door, NSAW, CCW, I mean, look no further. I mean, certainly look no further. I mean, these would be the guys that I would definitely want to bring on if you're looking to get some more guests. So that's going to be my little pipe bomb. So that's here nor there. And looking forward to your match, guys. Going to keep a close eye on it. And for you, my friend, there's going to be a special announcement here right before I throw it back to Slugger Hampton and DB Riley in about 15 minutes. So you're going to want to tune in for that. But let me get to words for you guys. So, the lawman Kyle Kennedy, I want to ask you, what would it mean to you to win this match against Connor Cage, be a part of the 8-person Fire and Gold Nonstop Action Wrestling World Class Title Tournament August 13th?
Vindication, Mr. Bryce. Vindication. I'm clearly the guy that isn't wanted, but sure as hell needed. I'm the guy that don't go to them, they come to me. Just like Remus, DeCaro, and Knights came to me, just like Mr. Snow came to me and asked for me to be a part of NSAW. Just like you, Mr. Bryce, came to me and asked me to be a part of your show.
I did. I admit that. I admit.
What this means to me is a lifelong dream to prove not only to the doubters, but to myself. Because I'll admit it, I can be a tad little brash, but that's because I know how damn good I am. And people see that as a problem. Some people see it as a threat. But that's not my fault or my issue when I already know how good I am, how talented I am. And so does Josh, so does Connor, so do you, and so does everybody else within the society, my fellow peers from NSAW and Blackheart. I know how damn good I am, and I have worked my ASS off for this opportunity, and I deserve it more than anyone else. So, Golden Boy, you were shafted and just given this opportunity just because, well, because people clearly have this affection and affiliation and love for you. And that's okay if you enjoy being liked and cheered. And I've been at every single show, and I hear all the way in the back the golden boy chants. And that's okay if you like being cheered and beloved by menial, just people who don't even matter to me. That's okay for you. It's not good enough for me. I don't need boss man's adulation. I don't need yours. No offense, Mr. Bryce. I have nothing but respect for you, but I don't need yours either.
Hey, feel free. Say what you want, the lawman.
I just need my brethren of the society. I just need a middle of a ring. Because that's when I truly shine. And come the date, the contract has been signed. And come the date of when me and you were in that ring together, Mr. Cage, it's not going to be some quick little 5-minute one and done thing. I'm going to drag this out. And I'm going to prove to you you've made a fatal mistake. And I'm going to prove to you, boss man, you've made a fatal mistake. And all the naysayers and doubters saying that I've just gotten everything because of my affiliation with management, thanks to Richard Knights, and my affiliation with Remus and Dakara. Let me again remind you of something. I didn't go to them. They came to me. Just like you did, Snow. So when push comes to shove, Cage, as CM Punk once said, you'll come to realize that come fight day, your arms are just too short to box with God.
Strong words. Once again, from the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, and Jenny Hayes says, actions speak louder than words. They're empty words if you can't back it up, so prove yourself to everyone.
5-0, Jenny. 5-0. Those are my actions, honey. You can keep coming up with, oh, well, actions speak. 5-0. 5-0, damn it. I'm sick of this. I am undefeated, damn it.
You speak the truth. You speak the truth there. 5-0. Very impressive. But all of these have been singles matches, which, let's be honest, haven't had a lot behind them. They have just been there to pump up the numbers. This is the one. This is the one where you have to unshackle yourself. You have to bring yourself out to the full extreme. And I'm saying this as well to Connor Cage. You have to be at the very best. Because this isn't just to pump up a number. This is for a spot to get championship gold around your waist. A title belt. If you can't perform on the day, then all we know is that when it comes down to it, you can only win a match to try and pump up your numbers, and that's it.
Connor Cage, I'm going to give you the opportunity here to ask you what it would mean to you to be into the tournament, which originally you were the first person to actually be announced, but actually now to win this match, to defeat the lawman Kyle Kennedy, to end the streak, as some might say. Right now, it is one of the more impressive streaks right now in all of professional wrestling. I mean, what would this mean to you to be able to now be in this tournament, especially with a win like this, after everything that's going on?
It means I'm proving that I was picked first for a reason. There's a reason why you have the likes of Kyle Kennedy and Dante Okara pining for this position continually over and over again till they get what they want. And there's a reason I'm in GT Ministries and showing up in Bolton Town Wrestling. There's a reason why I'm there every single day. Well, every single week, I mean, apologies. Because I am the hardest working person here. And there's no denying that. it might be a nickname that everyone's given me, but there's a reason why they give me that. And the reason why they cheer it. And you can be ungrateful for everyone, for that crowd who have given you everything you have. And I don't mean to suck up to them, but I have been in their position. I have been a fan, and now I'm a wrestler, a professional wrestler at Non-Stop Action Wrestling. And it would give me my vindication to beat you, Kyle Kennedy, in that ring, because I am the better wrestler through and through, day in and day out.
All right, very strong words here. Let me get to Pride's comment here real quick. 5-0, but how many have been honestly won with true-handed tactics and the honor of a warrior? How many were cheated? How many did you treat your opponent without due respect? A streak dishonesty earned means nothing. But hey, they do say in sports, like anything else, win's a win. So he is 5-0, the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. So certainly the lawman is undefeated, and we'll find out if he will be undefeated August the 13th. Fire and Gold. Also want to make sure, again, NSAW official Instagram, Facebook, Nonstop Action Wrestling. Also follow these two great individuals here, the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, and Connor Cage. So I want to get to closing thoughts here and then let everybody get the opportunity to speak before we get on the working class militia here in a few minutes. And obviously I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Also want to get to a couple of announcements here before I do that. The first one is here officially. We sort of announced it, I think, yesterday, but obviously we just threw out that audio in somewhere out there. But obviously I will also throw it out there that this Monday night, we will have on 7:30 p.m. from management, Richard Knights. So we will have on Mr. Knights. So certainly the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, I have a feeling that you are definitely going to be listening to that one. I'll get the story here for Mr. Knight. Plus, also, we're going to have an announcement related to Nonstop Action Wrestling. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to tell you, regardless of whether you're a fan of Mr. Knights, whether you're a fan of Connor Cage or Joshua Snow or anybody else that we speak of in Nonstop Action Wrestling, he will be speaking on behalf of management for an announcement. So that's the first part. Second part, we are obviously announced Jenny Hayes. But the most important part that we also have to announce, there's a society member I'm going to announce, but I'm going to do it in slugger spots. So that way, that'll be a cue because I want to at least give a bone to Nonstop Action Wrestling fans to turn over and listen to CCW. But we will have on Killjoy. Killjoy is going to be on. That's right. Next week, he is going to be on the 14th of July. We're actually going to do a Nonstop Action Wrestling leading off into Bentley, and then Bentley and Disciple will have a face-off. But Killjoy is going to be opening things up Thursday night on the 14th, 7 o'clock British Standard Time. So I'm very, very excited to get Killjoy's sound of things. In fact, I promised Killjoy for a while we would get him on. So Killjoy is going to be in the house on the 14th of July. That'll be around 7 o'clock British Standard Time. And then right after, you're going to definitely want to hang out because we're going to have on Bentley and then Bentley and Disciple in a face-off right before the GT Ministries Rumble. So that is all great stuff in the works here. Jenny Hayes, I mentioned also. Plus, in a little while, I will announce another member of the society to come on right after Jenny Hayes next Wednesday. So that's all great stuff here in the works. So I want to thank again Nonstop Action Wrestling for creating all these opportunities. And the man, of course, behind CCW, Joshua Snow's counterpart, Mr. James Barris, says, will the Lawman be undefeated in CCW? Well, they have an event coming up July 29th. If the Lawman, Kyle Kennedy's not doing anything, maybe we'll find out. Hey, who knows? I mean, we've got NSAW management here. We've got CCW management here and Mr. James Barris. So stay tuned.
Just give us a message. Just give us a message.
We'll certainly find out here.
Give me the message. Knowing him, I probably won't get it. So, Mr. Barris, shoot me an email. Shoot me over on Instagram.
And I will say, related to Mr. Barris, we actually have a message from Mr. Barris. I won't say what the message is, but I can tell you that we will have a pretty big guest on behalf of CCW right before their event on July the 29th, Lamped Lockdown, which, by the way, is sold out. Their 10th consecutive sellout. So all I'm going to say related to that, you can certainly find out here in the next few weeks. And something tells me here, many wrestling fans are going to want to tune in and find out who that guest may be in the next few weeks and what that announcement will be. So stay tuned for all of that. But I want to get to closing thoughts and reactions from everybody here for the last time before August 13th, before everybody goes out there and competes for this spot. So let me first of all go with Connor Cage. Connor, I'm going to give you the floor. Any final thoughts you have toward the lawman Kyle Kennedy before the next time you see him in the ring? And again, there's a lot in the line for you. Obviously, going into this tournament, but also getting redemption because the lawman Kyle Kennedy does hold a victory over you. He has defeated you in the ring before. So he's feeling pretty good, I'm sure. He's feeling like, you know what? I got what I wanted. I've beat you once. Connor, I'm giving you the floor. What would you like to say before the match as your final words to the lawman, Kyle Kennedy?
I'd like to say that I'm looking forward to it. To proving everything I've said up to now. I'll never beat you on the mic, that's for sure. I know that. But put me in a squared circle in that ring, it'd be a whole different story. History is not going to repeat itself this time. Floor's yours.
The lawman, Kyle Kennedy. I'll give you, obviously, your last words to Mr. Connor Cage. You got to be feeling good. Some may say you got what you wanted, but you do have a victory over Connor Cage, which we saw a few months back. So you've got the numbers game. You've got a win under your belt, a feather in your cap toward Connor Cage. So I'm going to give you the floor and your final words here to Connor Cage before the next time you guys see each other, which will be in the ring.
To those people that say, quote, Kyle Kennedy's got what he wanted, well, you're very ignorant and stupid. This isn't what I wanted. I wanted in the tournament. I don't need nor want to face Connor Cage, and it's certainly not because I know I can't beat him, and it's certainly not because I'm intimidated by the little guy. It's because I don't need to prove myself. My undefeated record speaks for itself. And while this lame-o over here has done nothing of note, I've appeared on every single NSAW show, undefeated. And yet, Connor Cage over here gets his finger up inside management somehow and is in the tournament. And unfortunately, the lawman has to earn his way. What about if I became your bestie, Mr. Snow? What about if I text you and call you and message you every day? Would I then be in the tournament? What if I got the people to chant, lawman, lawman, lawman? Would I be in the tournament then? I think it's ridiculous. Now, I'm speaking. You be quiet for a second. You'll have your turn. I think it's ridiculous that unlike him, I have to earn it. And you might come across and be like, well, you see, Mr. Kennedy, Connor Cage has earned it. Please tell me how. He's done nothing of note. He's nothing but a loser. He had bits ripped out of him by JPR and multiple people in and out of training and on the previous shows he's attended and been on. From NSAW to BTW to GTM. And yet, I'm not in the tournament, but he is, and I think that's ridiculous. But do you know what? I'll do you a solid. I'll prove to you that he ain't worth his weight in gold. Wink, wink. Get it? Gold, golden boy. I'm not here for this whole let me entertain you and let me be your favorite guy and please cheer me and respect me and watch me put on a masterclass of professional wrestling. I'm here to hurt people. I'm here to win. And I'm here to become world-class champion. That's exactly what I've done so far and proven so far. And come August 13th, Mr. Bryce, Mr. Cage, Bossman, and all the little cretins in the comments, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, strong words here. Let me get to a few comments before I get to closing thoughts here from Mr. Snow. And Mr. Barris says, good luck to all of you at Nonstop Action Wrestling. And Mr. Barris also adds toward you, Mr. Snow, toward you specifically. I would put up with this at CCW, Mr. Snow. Put your foot down, Mr. Snow. That's what he wants. He wants you to put your foot down. We have here, Kyle, your mouth is trash as the legitimacy of your 5-0 winning streak. Underhanded tactics count for about 3 of your wins. Kyle Lawman, Kyle Layman, more like Go Connor. Jenny Hayes says, I thought toddlers stomped their feet and shouted to get their own way. Go Connor, Kyle sucks. And Tommy Diamond, who's waiting for Slugger Hampton, says, good evening, gentlemen, which he is actually going to be on here in a few minutes, so we will wait for that. But certainly all of a sudden, I guess the fan temperature right now is Connor Cage over the Lawman, Kyle Kennedy. And obviously somebody from UKW, who we sort of know very, very well here, is tuned in and says, I should keep my eye on this. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, certainly when it comes to this individual, yeah, and certainly we would certainly want to keep an eye on him and certainly follow what he does in UKW because he is a big-time star out of UKW. So that means we have a lot of eyeballs right now on us. We got UKW, we got CCW, we got GT Ministries, we got NSAW. Who knows who else is watching us right now? So those are all good stuff. But Mr. Snow, I'm going to give you the floor here. I'm going to give you final thoughts and anything else you want to say.
Well, Mr. J-Ro Lewis, I recently heard you defeated the Society members at UK Wrestling to become #1 contenders for the UK Wrestling Tag Team Championships. So congratulations. I really hope you put them to rest and that you become the new Tag Team Champions at WrestleBration. But concerning this, Mr. Kennedy, if you were to constantly message me, which honestly is all you ever do, I would not class you as a friend. I would class you, with all the actions that you've said, as a stalker. But regardless of that, moving on from that, all I want to see is a winner from this. Honestly, I'm here for business. You really do not want me to put my feelings into this. Because the moment I put my feelings into this, Mr. Kennedy, you wouldn't even be a part of it. I only am entertaining this because everybody else in management is saying, give them a shot. Give them a shot, Mr. Chairman. Maybe they deserve it. Maybe they deserve it because they have been doing well in matches, and I grant you that. You have been doing well in matches, but you know what? Other than some of the losses that Connor Cage has been dealt, they have recently managed to clock up their own victories as well. Victories is not something that is unique solely to you. Put up or shut up, come up this match. And if you don't win, you're the only one to blame for it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, strong words here. And of course, Mr. James Barris continues to say, I am definitely keeping my eye on the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. So, Mr. Barris, as we wait for Slugger Hampton and D.B. Riley of the Working Class Militia, where we'll speak a lot about Cole Not Dog, get everybody ready for Lamp Lockdown, and of course, GT Ministries' upcoming 30-person Rumble next Saturday at the Fountains Church, where I'm sure Slugger's going to speak about quite a bit Connor Cage. He's keeping his eye right now, Mr. Barris, on Kyle Kennedy. So Mr. Barris might be scouting some future talent of CCW here. So there could be a future here. So certainly Jenny Hayes is happy for all of this great stuff. And I'm looking forward to speaking with you, Jenny, next Wednesday live. So I'm happy about that. Certainly I can't match your singing pipes, but we'll certainly be lucky to be graced by your presence. So I want to give everybody here final thoughts, any social media they want to plug, and I'll go first with Connor Cage. So Connor, I turn it over to you. Floor is yours. Any social media you want to plug out there for some different companies watching and listening to this? Fire away, my friend.
I think you've already linked. I think you already mentioned them. To be honest, everything I use, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Some people like to keep plugging. Some people, they just, for whatever reason, they want to plug it themselves. So I always like to give people that opportunity anyway.
I appreciate that. I think you've mentioned all of them. To be honest, I'm good. So,
All right. Well, listen, Connor Cage, you can follow him, Connor_Cage on Instagram, Twitter. He is also on Facebook. Give him a friend request. If you're a wrestling promoter out there, give him a look. He is definitely an up-and-coming wrestler. He is, in a lot of ways, what NSAW has to offer. So, the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, you are certainly no stranger to this. At this point, I probably should say, when are you coming back? Maybe next week, the following week, who knows at this point. I probably could ask you, would you like to come on every day because you give us the ratings? Clearly, the Lawman Kyle Kennedy equals ratings at this point. In some ways, you're almost like in the Attitude Era, X-Pac, I believe, is actually in the highest rated segment. I think, and don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure I heard this somewhere. X-Pac is in, I think, the highest rated Raw segment of all time. In some ways, I'm sure the Lawman Kyle Kennedy is probably in the highest rated Sportswire radio or highest viewed, most viewed Sportswire radio show in history. I'm sure that's going to happen at some point. So you do kind of have, in some ways, that X-Pac heat for us, but I give you the floor, my friend, and anything else you want to say, anything you want to plug that we haven't, and the floor is yours, my friend.
Give me a follow on Twitter, Lawman K. Kennedy. Instagram, Mr. Justice Kyle Kennedy. Like my Facebook page, Kyle Kennedy. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kyle Kennedy. Anything else I want to plug or promote or anything? August 13th, we've got Fire and Gold. I'll keep promoting because as much as I don't like management, I like NSAW and I like wrestling. So Fire and Gold, August 13th. I don't know when tickets are going on sale, but as soon as I know, everyone else will know. And, I'm sure I've got some more Black Hat things coming up soon. I don't know when, but again, when I know, you'll know. And who knows, maybe some future prospects with CCW. Maybe Mr. Thompson would like to give me an opportunity at GTM. Maybe a certain someone can get my name out there into UKW. But at the end of the day, I just love wrestling. I love fighting. My home is in the middle of that ring. And if you want me, you know where to find me. And if you want ratings, if you want a draw, if you want butts in seats and sold out shows, you come to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Justice himself, the Lawman Kyle Kennedy. Thank you again, Mr. Bright. It's always a pleasure coming on here. And whenever you want me, I'm yours.
I'll tell you what, I will say one thing before I get to Mr. Snow as we're waiting for the arrival of Slugger Hampton and D.B. Riley, obviously the Wolf of West Yorkshire, in a few minutes. We're just waiting for them to come on. I will say one thing, the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, whoever does his YouTube, whoever does his editing, every day I see something new from the Lawman Kyle Kennedy. He's got music, he's got matches, interviews. He's literally got, of all the wrestlers, he might have like the best YouTube I see. Bentley's pretty good. Bentley does a good job, but I always see something new from the Lawman Kyle Kennedy. So you could just live on the Lawman Kyle Kennedy's YouTube page and watch almost WWE Network-like coverage of himself. It's almost like the Kyle Kennedy Network. Hey, listen, cheap plug it. I disagree with Travis Cox because he says Kennedy's socials are at the bottom of the trash can. You obviously haven't gone to his YouTube page and watched great matches and great footage of him. But, Mr. Chair, I want to give you the floor. Anything you want to plug, say on behalf of NSAW before we get on the guys from Top Tier and Working Class Militia. And the floor is yours, and I'm looking forward to having you back on here and certainly looking forward to having you on here after Mr. Knights next week.
It'll be a pleasure. It's always been a pleasure to talk to you every time we come on here, Mr. Bryce. But to plug, don't forget to follow Non-Stop Action Wrestling on both Facebook and Instagram. You can also find our YouTube page for Non-Stop Action Wrestling, where you will find Christmas Carnage, our first ever show that we put on, as well as 2 Asylum matches, which involves 2 of these individuals down below, Kyle Kennedy against Mikey Future, and Connor Cage up against Kyle Kennedy's mentor, Remus Kane. And don't forget, Fire and Gold, August 13th, where we will crown our very first world-class champion in an 8-man tournament.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, all great things here, and certainly NSAW coverage continues on Sportswire Radio all throughout. Next week, we have wall-to-wall coverage. Next week, before we bring on the guys from CCW, we have wall-to-wall coverage when it comes to Richard Knights. We're going to have on Jenny Hayes. We're going to have on Killjoy. We just broke it here. We also have a society member that is also going to be on here next week. And then Dante O'Cara the following week. So we have a lot of coverage here when it comes to nonstop action wrestling. And something tells me in between that, the lawman Kyle Kennedy will be here because we do ask him all the time to come. So what can I say? I have to admit it. Listen, we do ask him a lot to come on. And also Bentley and Disciple in between that. That's going to be a doozy. So certainly Disciple has made his presence felt, and I can't wait for that face-off. So you got a lot of coverage here. Gentlemen, I can't thank you enough. I'm looking forward to the future here of NSAW. I'm looking forward most especially to this match at the Be Strong Fitness Center coming up August the 13th. And something tells me here I will have you guys back on. Congratulations at Blackheart Wrestling, the lawman Kyle Kennedy. Looking forward to watching you, Connor, live because I'm going to watch you at GT Ministries live on YouTube, GT Ministries in that Rumble. So make us proud here on Sportswire Radio. And Mr. Chairman, thank you as always for giving us these great opportunities here to speak with top talent and yourself as always.
Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here on Sportswire Radio with non-stop action wrestling coverage with Joshua Snow and Connor Cage, along with lawman Kyle Kennedy. Want to do it one more for the road because actually we had a couple of minutes to kill because Slugger's going to join us in about 5 minutes. So I thought, why not give it a longer entrance here? But you are here on Sportswire Radio with these individuals. We will be up and running here shortly in about 2 or 3 minutes with the guys from Top Tier, that is Slugger Hampton and DB Riley. And I am the host of the Sports Report and the station manager here of Sportswire Radio, the Reverend Tom Bryce. And in fact, since we got 2 or 3 minutes, I'm actually going to do a bonus here. I know we closed out, but I actually want to ask Connor and Kyle Kennedy one more thing specifically because we got these CCW guys on here. And obviously, they were at SummerSlam Slaughterhouse. And I want to go specifically because I got a couple minutes to kill. And I said, you know what? Let's maybe tease more of this NSAW and CCW. I mean, Connor, would you want to see hypothetically, even though I don't know, those tag team titles defended from the CCW guys at NSAW? Because why not? What's best for business, right? I know we're crowning our first ever world-class champion, but shouldn't we see maybe some titles defended NSAW? Because, hell, the Working Class Militia defended their belts in GT Ministries. What do you think?
I say why not, but I'm not management at CCW or NSA, so that's down
I
to
got
that.
Mr. Snow for that. Mr. Snow, you know what? I'm waiting on Slugger, and I'll fire the shot on him in a few minutes. But since we're waiting for him, and he's actually in a little bit of a pickle, so we'll get him on in a second. But what do you think, Mr. Snow? Because I saw those CCW titles defended at GT Ministries a few months back. What do you think about maybe the CCW tag team titles defended? Oh, I don't know, in Nonstop Action Wrestling Fire and Gold, August the 13th?
Well, all I have to say to that is, CCW, get in touch. That's all I need to say for that. Get in touch and let's see what business we can discuss.
The lawman Kyle Kennedy, I gotta ask you, should gold from other companies, like let's say in CCW, be defended in NSAW?
I'm just going to put this out there. If I'm not successful against Mr. Cage, I'm sure, if possible, Mr. Snow and Mr. Barris see fit, I can get either Remus or DeCaro to join me, and we could crown new tag team champions at Fire and Gold. How about that?
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, that's a cue because the working class militia are about to join. So that tells me here that's something that we're going to speak quite a bit about here on Sportswire Radio. So all great stuff. Gentlemen, thank you for all you do. Thank you for coming on here for this historic contract signing. I'm looking forward to this match and continuing more wall-to-wall coverage of nonstop action wrestling. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Tom.
All right. And now we bring on here, ladies and gentlemen, they are here, finally. Finally, the working class militia is back on Sportswire Radio. And they have been here, they have conquered, they have reigned over everywhere. We've talked about these guys quite a bit, and there's a lot to talk about here with them. And gentlemen, how are we tonight?
Well, first of all, lawman Carl Kennedy can talk, can't he?
He's a big talker. Yeah, he talks a lot. He does talk.
Talk about giving other people a chance. We've been sat here waiting another half an hour, 30 minutes, while he keeps talking and talking and talking.
He's
But
still
we'll get onto
talking
that
right
later
now.
on. We'll get onto that later on. Thank you.
Can I just point out exactly what you just said? He talks a lot.
That's right.
Nothing but words.
And he hasn't done it in CCW yet either. Is that correct?
And
No.
never mind CCW, he hasn't been with the militia yet.
That's true too. That's
That'll
true.
change, man.
Well,
That's
he may
good.
not be the lawman much longer. He might be the milkman if he's in the ring with you guys. I mean, certainly, if milkmen are still a thing, that could be the business of.
Like we say, it doesn't matter which ring we go into. As soon as we step into it, it's our ring.
Well, I've seen it firsthand. I've seen you guys prove that in different companies, and obviously, we are joined here on Sportswire Radio with our reigning, defending CCW Tag Team Champions from Top Tier. That is the Working Class Militia. Gentlemen, I wanted to give you that appropriate promo and introduction because I didn't get a
Always
chance to do that.
appreciated.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us on, Tom.
We appreciate that as well. And Uncle Ralph is tuned in here and says, "Good evening, Working Class Militia." Michael Brown says, "Looking forward to GT Ministries next week," which we're going to get to. We're going to get to a lot of GT Ministries. Obviously, Slugger is going to be a huge part of things. But obviously, Slugger, set the tables for us because you had one of the more, I guess, intense matches I've seen or heard of in a long, long time at Kol Not Dol. A short 10 or 11 days ago here. And certainly for those that are watching and listening to this on Sportswire Radio from different companies or even CCW fans, I mean, I know you've already spoke about the match quite a bit, but give us your reactions here on Sportswire Radio to your match against BMD. And certainly it was a match that you pretty much said what you were going to do and some.
Well, first things first, like you say, it has been a fair while removed, and I've had a chance to think. Now, we had the match, yeah, and it got emotional. It did get emotional. And the kid gave me more than I thought. I underestimated him. I will give him that as well. But the result always remains the same, like I said. Now, yes, I had a relapse. I had a lapse in concentration, I should say, a lapse in memory the day after. And I went on the live and I said what I said. But that's all since been cleared up with the CEO, James Barris, Uncle Ralph, my boy DB here, and the heavyweight champion, Chris Onyx. And Top Tier is stronger than ever again. So yeah, BMD, like I say, he gave me a good run for my money, but the result was never in question. I took him to his limit. I took him outside of that ring to his family. His father, his sister, and his nephew was sat in the crowd. And after what I did to him in front of him, his nephew was crying. His nephew even swung for me. A 7-year-old kid got that emotionally invested and was that worried about his own uncle. He swung for me. And I nearly knocked that kid's head off as well. And I had every right to do so. But BMD learned a few lessons that night, and I hope he did, because next month, or I should say this month now, since we're in July, at Landman's Lockdown, is BMD versus James Barris. And if BMD thought what I did to him bad, he's got no idea, because James Barris doesn't look dangerous, but he is. He's got a twisted mind. And he'll take BMD to his limit more than I did. I've no doubt about that. I was playing with that kid.
Absolutely. And let me get to a comment here from Michael Brown. Slugger and BMD match was a great match to watch. So obviously that was.
It was a great match, and I'm going to tell you why it was a great match from my point of view.
Talk to me about it, DB. Talk to me.
You see, I'm out injured at the moment. There's nothing we can do about that. And I have absolutely no issue whatsoever with my brother going out there and kicking ass and taking names. He's not going to stay dormant whilst I'm recuperating, resting up. No, he's going to keep making sure everybody remembers and knows not only who we are, but who he is. And that's why that match was so important. You see, we've been in CCW now for what? 8 months, 7 months?
Yeah.
And when we got there...
Took us 4 for these, by the way.
It took us 4. But when we got there, we weren't really us. We weren't really us. You see, we tried to be a little bit different, and you know what? It didn't work. You see, the man that walked out there and absolutely decimated BMD was the man that I started tagging with 5 years ago.
Now, I feel like I took it too far, and I said that on the Sunday afterwards. And maybe I did take it too far, but then I spoke to my brother, like he said, and we spoke it through. And I soon realised that I didn't go too far at all. I did exactly what I said I was going to do. We never lie, Tom. People think we're arrogant. We're not arrogant, but we just never lie.
We back it up.
And people hate it because that's the truth. And we've done it at GT Ministries. And I just want to address this quick. I saw the show before. I saw who he had on. Obviously, the gobby, shy, Carl Kennedy. Connor, if he's lucky, if he gets 2 words in with that gobshite next to him. And then a certain Mr. Nonstop. And I heard what he said right at the end of that show. We know they've got a show coming up. And believe me, I've tried to fight hard to get myself into that tournament. But I understand there's a lot of guys on the pecking order at Nonstop, and they all deserve a chance. Like, it wouldn't be fair to let me in there, this unknown to Nonstop, to win it, to go the whole way and win the title. That'd be a shocker. They don't want that. They want to keep it on one of their guys, and that's fine. But I heard what he said about Remus and another member of society. We have wanted those boys for a while. So if he wants to make that match and speak to Barris about it, I've no problem. And DB's no problem, because he will be ready. We'll come down and we'll defend these and we'll smash whoever. Never mind the society.
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, you want to talk about selling tickets. You want to talk about social media. You want to talk about creating a buzz. Could you imagine the reigning, defending CCW Tag Team Champions, the working class militia, a part of Fire and Gold and defending these belts? Listen, we've seen what they've did in GT Ministries. We've seen what they've done here and all throughout the professional wrestling scene the past several months. These guys, when they're 100%, look at them right now. Would you really want any part of them in the ring? So NSAW might have a problem on their hands. They might have to figure out. The lawman, Kyle Kennedy, he certainly talks, but can he walk the walk when it comes to the working class militia? I don't know. But I have a question from an individual who certainly has become a fan of our different streams. And this individual wanted to ask you guys, since obviously you guys are in top tier, you guys are champions, and you guys have done obviously a phenomenal job in representing CCW all throughout the UK here. And this individual wanted to ask your thoughts on a wrestler you might have heard of named Disciple. Pretty big guy here in the UK. He's also done some acting. He's been a world champion. Yeah. So what would you think about, let's say, Disciple in CCW? What do you think?
Well, the thing about CCW is there's always opportunity for whoever wants it. Whoever wants to walk through the door's always open to them. But what they don't understand is it's dangerous walking through a door when you don't know what's on the other side of it. And that's what Disciple will be doing. That's what the modern day Mafia, when Joe Cobra's back, will be doing. That's what Gung Ho Muttley may be doing. Gareth Angel even, who we'll talk about, I'm sure, later on.
Oh, we will.
So my thoughts on Disciple in CCW, if he wants to come up, he's got 2 choices. He either finds himself a partner and he challenges the best tag team in the UK, never mind the Northeast, which we are. Or he comes alone and he challenges the Slam Beast Chris Onyx, the CCW Heavyweight Underground champion, and Onyx takes him for a ride and smashes his head upside, puts him down 1, 2, 3 and raises that gold over his head. So there isn't many options apart from come and have a try.
It doesn't matter which option you choose. You will not leave that ring the same.
It's a learning curve, CCW. So anybody who's maybe a bit comfortable in their own environment, wants to step out the comfort zone, come and step up to CCW and see what's happening up here. Because there's a lot of good things happening, believe me. We're building a name for ourselves. Every single show sold out. One after another. And we don't want to say it's because of top tier. I didn't really want to talk about top tier tonight, if I'm honest. A lot's been said over the last couple of weeks, but it is about the working class militia selling those tickets. I know for a fact that half of that crowd at GT Ministries on the 16th are coming to see me take care of 29 other competitors in that Rumble. We have a strong following, a loyal fan base. And there's a reason we have a loyal fan base. It's because people know we're the best. Kyle Kennedy earlier on said, I know I'm the best. 5-0. Did you know he's 5-0, DB?
Apparently he's 5-0.
Did you know he's 5-0, Tom?
He's 5-0.
He's 5-0.
I've been hearing it all throughout the week. Sure.
You know what, Kyle Kennedy? I can't even remember.
Lost count.
I lost count of how many O's I am. It's not something to be proud of now. So I hope me and you are in that ring in the Rumble, son. I hope we are, because I'm going to slap you so hard. You're going to run back to non-stop and you're going to beg their board, do not let the militia back in this place.
I have to say it could very well be a possibility. And if you do like what you hear from Colory Championship Wrestling, please do give them a like on Facebook. Also follow them on YouTube as well, and also all the great things they do on Instagram, because this is a company that's 10 consecutive sellouts. So we'll get to everything related to the guys in a second, but 10 consecutive sellouts. I mean, think about this. I was watching a documentary on the old UWF. I forgot the UWF even existed, and they had the MGM Grand, and they only sold like 200 tickets out of 17,000. CCW does that in 15 seconds. So that tells you how successful right now CCW is at the moment. Everybody wants to be a part of CCW, and I've got a ton of comments. And in fact, the lawman Kyle Kennedy responds and says, those titles look nice right now. So the lawman Kyle Kennedy heard what you had to say about him, and something tells me the lawman Kyle Kennedy is talking to somebody right now.
Looking, boy. Yeah, they do look nice. Keep on looking.
So let me get to several other comments, because I got to get into them.
No
Evening,
Maybe
boys.
we can get you a replica made, mate.
Evening,
yeah,
boys.
fans only buy
Fans
replicas.
usually buy
Sorry,
replica, don't
fans
they?
buy replicas, so maybe we can get Kyle a replica.
Okay, yeah, we could certainly do that. Maybe we can figure that out somewhere. Maybe Amazon or eBay. But Uncle Ralph says, I have the utmost confidence and pride in the working class militia, true fighting champions who will defend their titles anywhere, anytime. I am in your corner. Always, brothers. Well said. Mr. Barris is with us. He says, champs with the big punch. And turn up and smash a fill in the blank and leave. That is from Mr. Brown. And we have
the working class militia.
Turn up. Smash a bastard.
Oh, well,
leave.
I was going to just appropriately say fill in the blanks. That was kind of my way of saying we're a family station.
We apologize for the language, but people know
We're the
wrong.
champions. We make an exception for the champions. Mr. Tommy Diamond, obviously, we know who he is, says, how is little Chrissy? His leg feel any better after I smashed it with a chair and ring steps? And he laughs. That's
Tom, right, I'm going to just address this one moment.
Sure.
Chris Onyx is absolutely fine. He's recovering well. It'll take more than 3 people ganging up and bullying him to put him down for good. And he still stands here, just about stands, thanks to Tommy Diamond, your world heavyweight champion. Now, Tommy, I'd watch your mouth, because not only are you having a little bit of problem within the elite at the moment, even your own people don't like you. I've got a feeling we may be in the same building very soon. And if that's the case, you stay out of our way, because 1, you don't deserve to be in a locker room with someone as top tier as the working class militia. And 2, you mean nothing to us. When you walk into the room, we don't recognize you. Oh, is this the drinks guy? Yeah, I'll get a Fanta. Oh, sorry, it's Tommy Diamond. Your locker room's down that way with the rest of the jobbers. Now wind your neck in.
And I have a comment in here from somebody we know well, and we'll leave it at that, who they might be, but it gives a good question for you guys here. Don't know if it's just me, but I certainly feel like tag team wrestling has been given a lot more well-deserved recognition the past few years, which I kind of agree, because there was a period where tag team wrestling, it felt like it was an afterthought almost. But you guys have a thought on that?
2000s was shocking.
And I mean, it's, I suppose, on a global scale, tag team wrestling's always been, well, not always, but certainly over the last, God knows how long, has been an afterthought. But in the real gritty core indie shows and the independent scene, tag team wrestling's been strong for years. And then when me and DB first met, and we spoke a bit about this on a show we did before with you, Tom, and thank you for coming on our show before.
I appreciate that. Thank you for that.
We really enjoyed that, and a lot of views, a lot of popular questions, so thank you. But yeah, like I say, so when we met, we knew instantly not only do we want to be a tag team, but we wanted to raise divisions. And everywhere we go, when we first started, we were at a company, again, that I will not mention because they don't deserve the recognition and are now buried under the ground. But we carried their tag division for almost a year, to the point where they were putting singles competitors together just to give us competition. And that's what we want. And that's what we did at CCW. Now, there's a few tag teams. There's Tommy Diamond, of course, the Gobby Shite that we saw a minute ago, and his tag team partner, Walker Wall Street. We want to mix it with them. But if I'm being honest, there's one team that's been on mine and DB's mind for almost a year now. And we've mixed it up with them before, and you know these guys. And we want this rematch, this 2-on-2 tag match. In fact, there's two teams. The first one is High and Mighty. Now, Martin Grant, everybody saw what he did to my boy at the debut at GT Ministries. And we haven't forgot about this. And now your tag team partner's hands healed. Let's get that match sorted out soon, even if we have to come into your country, into Wales, and do that. But the team that is on our minds a lot lately is Joel Cobra and Dave Douglas. And it's a shame that Joel's out as long as he is. And we respect that an injury like that is bad, and we wish him well. He got injured the same time as DB. So I'm really glad that me and Dave Douglas may have an opportunity to mix up again in this Rumble. But that is one team that we're going to throw a challenge out to now. Whenever Joel Cobra is ready and he's fit, and we have the go-ahead from our CEO to do this, whenever you're fit and ready, we want both of those two in CCW, these titles on the line at the first available opportunity. That's the biggest test we could have as a team, the first team back. And we want those two, providing Joe Cobra recovers in time.
You heard it here first on Sportswire Radio. Modern Day Mafia, Working Class Militia, Tag Team Championships here in CCW. And certainly we keep our fingers crossed that Mr. Cobra gets ready. And we know that obviously DB is going to be ready very, very soon. So we're excited about all that. And I do agree with you guys. And I think of the tag team division here, especially in the UK, where a number of teams we've had on the show, whether it's Synergy and the LWF, whether it's Reese and Rogan, who are all over the place. I remember speaking with Reese and Rogan, and it was like nobody really knew who Reese and Rogan were. And obviously you guys and the Modern Day Mafia when they're healthy. I mean, even the Northern Warriors you guys were in the ring with. I mean, there's a lot of great tag teams right now in the UK. So obviously tag team wrestling is alive and well. And let me get you
Northern Warriors. Sorry to interrupt me. Well, Northern Warriors are another tag team. Yeah. For people who don't know, we went to Nonstop, and our titles weren't on the line that night. And probably lucky that they weren't, because I didn't have DB by my side. One of our very good friends and a very good athlete, Caleb Jackson, stepped in that night, and we put up a good fight. But the Northern Warriors, I'll admit, they got the better of us that night. Now, if it wasn't for the line of fans that they had lined up chopping the hell out of me and Caleb that night, or if it wasn't for the referee clearly being biased towards non-stop action wrestlers that night, we might have been different. But they're another team that when DB's ready, we'll happily defend these titles against.
I'll tell you what. Stay tuned for all of that. Let me get to a number of different comments. Uncle Ralph says it is inevitable with talent like Working Class Militia being showcased that tag team division is alive and well. We have here John Rowlandson, the voice of reason, who's got his own show coming up here. I think it's the Rowlandson Report, I think, or something like that. I think I just saw that the other day.
Yeah, there's a bit of buzz behind it. John Rowlandson's well, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, because I get in trouble for saying everything nowadays. But John Rowlandson's a good guy. So, yeah, it should be interesting.
And we're going to have him back on, I think, right before, let's see, Lamp Lockdown's the 29th.
He did, with Colin McGregor.
Yep.
The less said about him, the better.
Well, we'll have Mr. Rowlandson on. I'll just say his name. We will have him on the week of Lamped Lockdown. We will do our usual weekly coverage of Lamped Lockdown. So we're excited about that. And he says here, Tommy Diamond, the man who hired another member for the elite establishment because he ran out of other members of his own team to fall out with. Oh, okay.
Well,
So
that's my point. Tommy Diamond's got a big mouth, and he's going to get him in trouble.
And then
real opponents.
Mr. Rowlandson also says, I wouldn't mind seeing the working class militia versus the modern day mafia in a 3-match series, one on the home turf of each team and one on neutral ground. Interesting, because you could do GT Ministries,
That's a good idea.
CCW, and neutral
Any
ground.
day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Yeah, you could do that. That'd be actually
Whenever
pretty
they're
cool.
Whenever they're ready.
That's a no-brainer. And Mr. Barris says, what I've planned for a future show around the tag team division is something that will hopefully ignite that fire back for the tag team division, independent wrestling. But my boys will obviously sail through it like top-tier champs. And he says, it's Lamp Man. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I do realize. Thank you for that, Mr. Barris. I apologize. I think I did say Lamped, and I meant to say Lamp Man Lockdown. My eyes clearly need to be checked. So I do want to apologize to that because it is Lamp Man Lockdown. So I do appreciate that. My friend Anthony Finkel from New York chimes in here and says, Commissioner Bryce, the hardest working man in radio, because
Cannot disagree.
Because in New York, I actually am a commissioner. I'm technically a commissioner of deeds, so which means almost nothing. But I'm a commissioner. But that's here nor there. And I do want to obviously promote the show real quick because obviously I heard the show with Ronnie Thatcher, and I got to say, you got a voice for radio. I mean, I say this in a good way. In that, did you take broadcasting class or something? It seemed like you were like the flow with you and Ronnie Thatcher with DB was like really good. I mean, I got to be honest.
We appreciate it. I mean, I know I call Tommy Diamond. I call a few people mouthy. I'm mouthy as well, but I use it in the right way. I use it as a tool in the right way. So I appreciate that. And like I say, we've got the First Amendment's coming up on Friday. If you allow us to plug this quick, Tom.
Absolutely, I was going to plug it anyway. So feel free.
We haven't revealed. We know we've got a really good guest. We're not going to reveal that until tomorrow. Although we may reveal it at the end of the show, maybe give it an exclusive at the end.
Yeah, why not?
But yeah, so but I appreciate it. And again, we're really injured. You helped us kickstart that. You were the first person to come on. And you laugh at this, but it's true. You were an international guest. You were the first international guest, I believe, on CCW. Yet another pioneering achievement brought to you by the Working Class Militia for CCW.
I appreciate that,
Ronnie Thatcher. Now, it's not that I'm not allowed. I'm not going to really speak about Ronnie Thatcher because, we all saw what happened last week, and he baited me onto his show, and then he baited me into a challenge into a match, and I shouldn't have done that. That's right, because the CEO, James Barris, makes the matches, and I have no right to do that. As I said on the other live, the honest, true live that I put up the day afterwards, and I apologize, and I'll apologize again to James Barris for that. But yeah, so I don't really talk about Ronnie Thatcher. He's getting under my skin at the minute. And of course, I don't make the matches. I would love to smash his head in. Me and DB sat and we've watched the tag team division in CCW, and we've watched people rise and fall. And we've been a part of their rise and a part of the fall. But then we've been looking at the big dogs as well. We've been looking at people like Dustin Hart. I've been looking at Ronnie Thatcher. I like people like Hammerhead Smith when he was in CCW. Ultimately, like Chris Onyx, because he's the main event, he's the face of CCW. And it is interesting, like we said before, we've often wondered what would happen if the Working Class Militia stepped to the ring with Ronnie Thatcher and Dustin Hart. I think that'd be interesting. But I'm sure we'll get to that because, like I said before, Tom, and it ain't bragging, this is true. After we've destroyed every tag team in CCW, it won't take long for our great CEO, James Barris, to have to start putting teams together for us to beat, feeding more victims to the wolves, or the wolf and the devil, if you will.
All stuff there that says, listen, this could certainly be a summer of the working class militia, and it's shaping up to be, to say the least. And I do have a question, which I should get to, is could we have a detailed update from my boy DB on his injury? Is that something we're allowed to elaborate on. I feel like you did answer it, though, at the beginning when it was addressed about nonstop action wrestling. I think you did kind of address
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I'm sorry to speak for DB, but due to legal reasons, obviously, we can't give too much information away. All I'm going to say is, and it's easy for you to say you're doing okay, but for someone on the outside looking in, I can say that DB is getting better every single day, and he'll
Okay.
be ready soon.
That's
We ain't
fair.
telling you when.
That is certainly
We
fair.
tell you when. DB comes back, he's going to make an impact like he always does. People are forgetting about DB. Some super fan of CCW insulted him the other day, saying that he'd be jobbing to bat pigeon in a couple of months, while raising me up. And you've probably seen this, Tom, all these stupid fans with the Summer of Slugger, break away from
Yep.
CT. Like I said, I know where my bread's buttered. I know where my loyalty stands. But yeah, DB will be back soon, won't you, brother?
I'm going to be back real soon.
And we're going to carry on where we left off, hit the ground running. Only this time, we're not just going to go out and defend titles in other places. We're going to take other places' gold.
I'll tell you what, that is a cue and a segue to July the 29th, Lamp Man Lockdown, 10 consecutive sellouts for CCW. Think about it. Like I said, CCW sells more tickets than major wrestling companies have around the world. That tells you how successful this company is. And I do have a comment I should throw out there before I get to Phil, and that is from somebody you might know of, I'm sure, named Jack Bartley. Says, "Good evening. Oh, Barris, you let out the car boot for this. Did he, Slugger?"
Well, the jester's here.
You know, we've never had a bad word to say about Jack Bartley. We've always respected him. Yes, he's a clown. Yes, it's comedy, this and that.
But
yes,
he can get the job done.
Yeah, he gets the job done. And then I saw this video, and I'm sure everyone else has seen the video of him taking the piss, let's say, out of James Barris, his boss. Let me remind people, taking the mick out of Chris Onyx, the champion, and then all of a sudden, he mentions my name and he makes a little joke about me being held down, being held back by top tier, being told what to say by top tier. Let me tell you something, Jack. Everything I say is from my own mind, and I mean it. I liked you, son, but you've just poked 3 very angry bears that you cannot cope with. Because believe me, when you step in the ring with us 3, you will look like Goldilocks. And we will tear you apart like 3 bears would tear a human being apart. You mistake my kindness for weakness, Jack. You brought me into that. You know the dilemmas I've been going through, the battle I've had in my mind right now. And you've made me make the decision. And you, and I'll also say as well, you know what? While we're on the subject, I don't want to talk about this much longer. I do want to talk about Ready to Rumble and the impact I'm going to make there. But I want to make one thing clear. All these people like Jack Bartley, like BMD, after seeing what I'd gone through and seeing that what I regretted doing to BMD and knowing that I almost took it too far and seeing what thoughts I was wrestling with when I did that live and poured my heart out on that Sunday, you'd think people like BMD, like Jack Bartley, like Jam Dog Mac, they'd reach out. People know how dangerous I am. I know, not that I wanted this, but you think Jack Bartley, you think Colin McGregor would be thinking, well, do you know what? There's a cracking top tier here. Maybe there's a chance for Slugger. Maybe Slugger's having a few battles within himself. Maybe there's a chance to bring him over to us. Nobody did that. They just poked the bear. BMD, I said I respected that kid after. And then he came on a live and he said to our boss and everyone else's boss in CCW, James Barris, he told him to shut his mouth while he was talking. Kid, who do you think you are?
Disrespectful.
You're lucky you're alive. If I'd have brought that chair down and smashed your skull between the other chair, you wouldn't be wrestling again. You'd be doing what I said you'd be doing, and that's watching it on the couch with your family. And you're poking the bear even more by going for James Barris now. Some people don't learn, Tom, and that's the problem with this business. There'd be a lot more talent being able to fly and soar and do what they do best if only they realised that there's 1 of these and 2 of these for a reason.
Excellent points here. Let me get to a plug because I want to give a plug out here. And hey, Rev, may I just plug the Ronnie Thatcher show? Carnage Wednesday is on tonight, 9:15 p.m. Yep. So absolutely can definitely give a plug. Anything you want me to add and you want to put in the comment section, I'll be happy to read that off. Anything you need with that, and certainly will be respectful of people's time to let people go over and watch that stream. So I definitely want to acknowledge that. So you definitely have the plug here for the Ronnie Thatcher Show, Carnage Wednesday, which is on tonight, 9:15 p.m. And is it usually 9:15 p.m. on Wednesdays? Is that where we can find it usually on the
Round about
CCW
nine,
page?
nine, between 9 and 9:15. He thinks he's uncensored, this guy, doesn't he? He likes to swear after 9 o'clock. I'm sure he's going to have some smart words for me tonight after. Well, let me get this straight. I didn't pull out of this match. I have never pulled out of this match. I want this match with Ronnie Thatcher. But I'm respecting my boss, James Barris. And I will respect what he wants me to do at Landman's Lockdown. As soon as he tells me, I'll be there and I'll do what I'm told. And I'll do it to the best of my ability, like we always do.
And that's certainly spoken truer words as usual from the working class militia's Slugger Hampton, who is on quite a run right now. And I think Phil Russell's being a little facetious and saying, can we arrange a crowd fund to send him on a private medical so he comes back faster? That's kind of a tongue in cheek. And Mr. Bartley says, in fairness, that video did its job. It got management's attention. It got me the title shot that I had earned previously. That's
what it's got, Jack Bartley, is you in a lot of trouble because now Chris Onyx is pissed.
And Jack Bartley doesn't think about this. It's all laughing, jokes, and games. And again, I don't want to give this clown, and that's what he is, any more time than he deserves. But what he doesn't realise is Chris Onyx has been made to look a fool so far in this title reign. You have not seen Chris Onyx's true potential. You do not know what dark place Onyx will go in his mind. And Jack Bartley, the Chuckle crew are at ringside. Your family are at ringside. So I'd do me a favour. Do yourself a favour, not me. Don't bring them with you to the match unless you want them involved. Because I know you'll go to whatever lengths you do. I've got tricks for days. Chris Onyx don't play tricks. Chris Onyx brings true facts. And the facts are, if you're not careful and you treat him as a joke, you're going to get your head smashed in at the end of the Chuckle crew. And that's all I've got to say about that.
That's certainly, we've seen Chris Onyx in action here in the past.
Let's talk GT, Tom. Let's talk Ready to
Rumble. I was
Rumble.
about to do that. Listen, I've actually been wanting to talk GT Ministries, for a long time. But I promised to get Mr. Rawlinson here one more before. To be fair, the Jester's methods, while unconventional, are usually effective. However, this time I feel that gaining that shot might just be a pariah victory. So meaning it's a hollow victory. It means that it's a victory in jest.
You don't have to explain what that means to us, son.
Okay. Because I actually had to explain it to myself.
We ain't just brawn here. There's a reason
I had to explain it to myself because when I hear some of these words, I'm like, that's why John Rawlinson's the voice of reason, and I'm not. No, he's a clever guy. He's a clever guy.
Something else. So
I'm not as clever as John Rawlinson, but I'll find out in that Monday before Latman Lockdown. But let's get to GT Ministries because I really have been chomping at the bit because I am sure you've heard by the last several weeks, all I've been doing is speaking left and right about different wrestlers from different companies. Now, I finally get somebody from CCW who's going to be a part of this GT Ministries upcoming 30-person Rumble, which feels like I've been talking about this for as long as a kid would be waiting for their Christmas presents. I feel like I've been talking about this Rumble for weeks and weeks and weeks. And now next Saturday is finally going to be here at the Fountains Church, July the 16th, GT Ministries UK, where you can watch this on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and everywhere else. So, I mean, I want to give you, Slugger, your thoughts on a rundown of some of these different people that we've seen announced in this 30-person Rumble, because I know a lot of people are dying to hear this.
First of all, there's a reason that I'm the only CCW competitor in that Rumble. It's because the management of GT Ministries know that if they want an outsider to come in and make an impact, Slugger's going to do that. Now, I know everybody saw the announcement. They might have been a bit shocked. Oh, God, what's happening with Top Tier? Yeah, I'm coming alone because I want everybody to show what I can do. The problem with being in the greatest faction that UK Wrestling's ever seen, Tom, is that you soon get told with the brush of you can't do anything on your own. And I'm going to prove at Ready to Rumble that I'm out there to win this. Now, I've seen day by day, week by week, the competitors. And I've seen the little graphics and the posters. Oh, Rarebit with his scary mask is in the Rumble. Remus with his My Chemical Romeo. Oh, he's in the Rumble with his face paint on.
I just heard My Chemical Romance just there. Oh, God.
Goliath.
Got lost on his
Oh, Goliath. Sorry. Goliath is in the Rumble. Now, you know what? I'm making a bit of a joke about Goliath, but I did tell that big guy when he was on your show last week, I believe. That
Yes, he was.
Match with him. I want to do
Yes,
this
he did.
match with him. I'd love my dream. I'll tell you this now. My dream would be to step into that ring, and we've got Carl Kennedy, Goliath, that freak, Rarebit, jacked up freak, Mr. Angel, Mr. Angel. And then, I don't know, let's say Dave Douglas, all 5 of them. And I just smash, bang, 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 all of them. They all drop like dominoes. And then we pick them up. See you later, Angel. Whoa, he's flown out the building. See you later. Rarebit, back to your sewer. Boof, you've gone. Who else did we mention? Because I forgot. I mean, Goliath, it'll be a classic with Goliath. In fact, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen here. And he's that much of a giant rookie, he'll forget I've said it. Goliath's going to come running towards me on the ropes, bump, 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 and I'm going to pull the rope down, and he's going to go, woo, straight over the top. Goliath, out of here. Dave Douglas, I like him. I like Joel Cobra.
Yeah, I like Dave Douglas. I've always liked Dave.
But he's too nice. He's too nice. So I'm going to shake his hand out of the spirit of competition, and he's going to go, oh, there you go, Slugger. And I'm going to grab it straight out. And then that leaves me and the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. Mr. 5-0.
Did you know it was 5-0?
Did you know he's 5? Did you know he's 5-0?
I didn't know he was 5-0. Is he
You
5-0?
know what? 2 things. One, it's easy to be 5-0 when you've fought boys. You've wrestled boys. Come and wrestle a man and see what happens to your son.
Not a man, devil.
GT Ministries, we all know, is based around a very positive aspect. The very positive aspect of religion. And they spread positive vibes and spread good words, and there's no negative whatsoever. And I respect that, and I respect the fans, and I respect everybody there. And I do respect Gareth Angel. But I want to tell every other person, male or female, in this Rumble, that I assure you, hell is real. And the devil of Derbyshire is going to show every single one of you why I am who I say I am, and why you should know my goddamn name by now. As much as I hate to admit Matthew James is right, when it comes to GT Ministries, it is the summer of Slugger. And this is a guy I used to like. In fact, I still like him, no matter how cocky he is. I do like the kid. But let's get it straight. He is a kid. The heavyweight champion, Jack Johnson. Because I'm #1 contender.
He's from Salford. Did you know he's from Salford?
Oh, yeah, Salford. Yeah. That's
boy.
Yeah, that's the poor, scratty end of Manchester, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know where he is. All I know is
with that ugly mall they have in the center of the town. That's the place.
Yeah. A couple of shite football teams. But either way, he's faced Rarebit and he's faced Gareth Angel, and they're very, very good competitors. Like I said, Rarebit's a jacked up freak. Not as jacked up as me. And Gareth Angel is a veteran. But he has never faced anyone like Sluggerhampton, any outsider. He knows every competitor in GT Ministries from top to bottom. He knows nothing about me. None of them know anything about me. And there's a few people in there, I'll be honest, there's a few people that I am a bit worried about facing against. No matter what I draw in that Rumble, I'm worried about meeting certain people. I'm worried about Connor. I'm worried about young Horus. I'm worried about Leonie Rose. I'm worried about anyone else that's under 8 stones in weight. Because I'm going to grab them, and without even thinking, I'm going to send them into that front row. And it's for their own good, Tom. It's for their own good. Because I could play with my food. But I'm not going to. Not when it comes to them. There's not enough meat on the bones. I want these big lads. I want Goliath. I want Carl Kennedy. I want Rarebit. I want Gareth Angel. I want all these big lads, big bulls. I want a challenge. I don't want to walk through this Rumble. I want to know that I've been through a fight. And that's the thing about Militia. We're not just cocky, oh, I'm going to do this and that. I want to know I've been in a fight. I want contusions. I want bruises. I want lacerations. I want to know that I've put my heart and soul into this fight. And I want to know I've been taken to the limit. But one thing I'm going to tell you is, one thing that gets a little bit boring being the militia is always knowing the outcome. It's like I've got the almanac from Back to the Future. And we look at it, and it's every result. Working class militia win, W next to the name. Working class militia W. Sluggerhampton W. DB Riley W. The result's always the same. And I'm very much looking forward to proving that with an army of CCW fans coming behind me as well. Because it ain't just us that's taking over. It ain't just me who's the forbidden door. And I am the forbidden door between GT and CCW. Let's not forget that.
Oh, I'm well aware. Well aware.
Two things. One, we're not just coming to take over. CCW is coming to take over GT Ministries and see what they've got. And two, what's Mr. Angel and GT Ministries going to do when a non-GT Ministries contracted worker wrestler wins their heavyweight championship and walks straight out the door?
Interesting. Interesting point. Can you think about that?
I wonder if there's a Comic-Con hanging around coming up soon afterwards. Well, I'll be doing exactly that. I'll be walking out. It's cliched now, and it started all the way back in the late 80s, the early 90s, and maybe even before with Ultimo Dragon collecting the titles. We've seen Kenny Omega collecting the titles. We've seen Austin Aries, which people forget, collecting the titles. Well, this year, next year, the year after, and as long as we say, Tom, we're collecting titles. DB's going to be back soon. We're going to have singles. We're going to have doubles. We're going to have whatever titles we want. We're going to prove we're the best. And more people. I mean, do you know what? It's probably going to be a bad thing because the more we dominate, the less other companies are going to want us. Because why would you want two absolute bulls that say what they're going to do and then do it, come into their company and destroy two of their top guys? Who'd want that? Maybe we're making a rod for our own back, but it's a double-edged sword when you're this good. But not only when you're this good, when you back it up.
I'll tell you what, certainly the song Bulls on Parade from Rage Against the Machine might be the theme for Slugger Hampton and DB Riley of the Working Class Militia. But I got a bunch of comments, and nobody wants to hear me speak. So let me get to some of those comments related to what Slugger had to say. And John Rowlandson says, this Rumble at GT Ministries just keeps getting more and more stacked. It'll be my first time in the functioning church for many a year, but I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to watching it, which if you're like me in New York, can watch it starting 6:30 p.m. here on YouTube, GT Ministries, and watch it live. You'll watch it like you've always been there. And Jack Bartley actually gives you a nod of respect here. However, Slugger, when you go to GT Ministries, you are representing CCW. Go out there and smash it. John Rowlandson also says if Slugger ends up facing off with the Disciple, that roof had better be in good condition at the Fountain Church. Oh, boy. You want to talk about Disciple and Slugger Hampton as the final two participants in that Rumble? Oh, my goodness. And I got a few more comments I'll get to, but oh, baby. You think about that, Disciple and Slugger. You want to talk about what that could bring? I mean, listen, I don't know who to pick in that one. I mean, listen, may the best person win is all I could say. I mean, that's here nor there. But
it's a stacked Rumble. It's a stacked Rumble.
I'll be honest. There's Rumbles. I know that we had some Rumbles earlier in the year, and there was obviously Future Shock Pro Wrestling had their Rumble for the love of wrestling. But I got to be honest, and I'm not just saying this because we cover GT Ministries regularly here, and you've been a part of GT Ministries coverage in the past on Sportswire Radio. But I think this is one of the most stacked Rumbles I can think of in a long, long, long time. So tremendous job by everybody involved with GT Ministries, also NSAW, BTW, and CCW for making this happen. But let me get to this individual because he's actually going to come on. I promised to break it in the NSAW guy's spot, but I'm going to have him on here next week around 8 p.m. British Standard Time, and that is from the Society. That is Remus Kane, because Remus Kane is actually also going to be in the GT Ministries Rumble. And Mr. Remus Kane here. Remus Kane, you've seen him in NSAW, UKW, and Remus Kane says Keep my name out of your mouth, you uncultured backstreet trash. Step into the ring with me, and you will face a challenge that no one else can give you. Would you like to respond to that, Mr. Sluggerhampton?
Like I say, we know the society are. We know
I
Remus
know.
Kane. We know they like to run around with the makeup on and claim to be this and that and the other, but let's face it, when he steps into the ring with me, like I said earlier, he will be stepping into the ring with the devil. And it will soon find out that little boys playing in the Hellfire Club is a fairy tale. And when you step in front of Slughampton, the Devil of Derbyshire, you soon realise that A, you are a little boy in a man's world, and B, you have never been punched in the face like I will punch you in the face. You will want to quit this business, take your little boys with you, and I don't know, probably start commentating or running a little promotion or something like that, in which case we'll come down to that promotion and we'll smash everyone there as well. So you cannot win, Remus. I look forward to meeting you in that Rumble.
And we look forward to getting Mr. Kane's response next week here live on Sportswire Radio. So Mr. Kane will be gracing his presence here for the first time on Sportswire Radio, and we look forward to that. And Graham Guest says, you can never have too much gold. Boys take it all. And I'll tell you what, right now, I would not want to get in the way of the working class militia. And we also have here, from what I've seen, it only takes one headbutt to lay you out, so that doesn't sound too much of a task.
Whoa, hang on 1 minute. I did explain in that situation that I knew my boy DB had it under control, so I had a little nap because champions can do what they want.
Well, that's why I wanted to glance over that comment.
That's all that was. Yeah. That was just glanced off me. It was nothing special. And again, look what happened to that son of a bitch after this match. The knee went. So who caused more damage to each other? I'll leave it there.
Fair enough. Certainly fair points here. Taylor Truths is chimed in here and says, good evening. Good evening to Taylor. Obviously, thank you, Taylor, for tuning in. And I don't think he's
not having a good evening, I'll be honest.
Well, so then should I say bad? What do you say when you don't want somebody to have a good evening? Do you say bad evening? Do you say rainy evening?
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
What do you say? Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. To your evening. I don't care. I don't care about him now.
I'm not going to argue with that.
He's with the militia once and for all, especially when he put his hands on me. The referee missed it, but he hit me with that.
He spoke about that on Sunday's show with us. Yeah, he spoke about that.
With his fist after.
Let me get to GT Ministries real quick, because I would like to at least get to GT Ministries and a plug for the upcoming Rumble at the 16th at the Fountains Church. For tickets, you can go to fountains.bradford.org/wrestling. That's fountains.bradford.org/wrestling. So all you have to do is the link right there to get tickets, and there's just a few tickets left. Just a few left. There's not too many left, so you might as well want to go act right now, because, in an hour or so from now, or 2 hours from now, there may not be any tickets left. So you definitely want to tune in. And Taylor Truths apparently says he bought a ticket. So the bad news or good news, depending on how you see it, he has a ticket.
Has to get in there with the CW all the time. Taylor Truths, if I see you there and you lock eyes with me, I'm going to punch you right on the nose.
We warned you, and you've seen firsthand, you've felt firsthand what happens when you get under our feet. And we are the ones that decide whether you are or are not under our feet.
Well, anyway, like well said, like we say, GT Ministries, like Tom said, there's only a few tickets left. You need to get down here. 2 reasons. One, you're about to witness an outsider win the whole thing and then go on to take that title from Jack Johnson, whoever the champion is, come that night. And the second is, you're going to get to see wrestling like none other or no other. There is an eclectic collection of entrants in this Rumble that's been announced so far, and I'm sure more to come and a few surprises. And hell, I said I wasn't coming with top tier, but I never said I weren't coming alone. You never know who might turn up from CCW. They might not. We'll see. But it's going to be one hell of a night. I believe it's going to be Goliath and Gareth Angel. Did I see that right as well?
Yes, Goliath versus Gareth Angel. And we also have a fatal 4-way match between Sean Only, Rarebit, the Metal God Alex Boylan, and Disciple. And the winner of that becomes the number 30 entrant into the Rumble. And the loser, whoever gets pinned, is number 1. I mean, boy, I would not want to be the loser of that match.
You see, Sean Only, that's another one. And how did we forget Sean Only?
And he's the trainer, by the way, at the UTM Academy, by the way. He's the head trainer, Sean Only.
That's it. He's very, very dangerous. He's been up and down the country for years, a veteran in this game.
Absolutely.
So I very much look forward to meeting him in the ring if I get the chance. And you never know. Maybe he respects Sluggerhampton. We seem to work it. He's no nonsense. He's smash mouth, so are we. Maybe we can form a little alliance in the Rumble. You never know.
And let me get to GT Ministries management. I have a bunch of comments, but I want to get to GT Ministries first because obviously they've been supporting us here for a long time on Sportswire Radio, and I'm very grateful for their support. We cannot wait to see absolute chaos and carnage that this Rumble is going to create. Star-studded, full to the brim of Britain's brightest wrestlers, and Slugger is counted among them. Absolutely, no question that everything that Slugger brings to the table, along with the rest of the great entrance here in this upcoming Rumble next Saturday.
I always said it's stacked. It's a stacked Rumble.
I'm more excited for this Rumble than the Royal Rumble or Future Shock's one for the love of wrestling, or Wrestle Island had one I know recently. I mean, I'm more excited about this one just because of the eclectic amount of talent. The Forbidden Door is wide open. You would never see this in other companies. The amount of people.
That's the thing. The thing about this is, to a normal bystander, to a normal fan in the crowd, or dare I say to a normal regular shit muncher in the audience, you wouldn't be able to guess who's going to win this Rumble. Like I say, Gareth Angel so far been announced, Rarebit, Sluggerhampton, Remus Kane. Who's going to win this? I don't blame them for being, for wanting to get there, wanting to buy a ticket, wanting to come and see it. But again, spoiler alert, for anyone who's ever seen us wrestle, Sluggerhampton is the winner of this Rumble.
Well, you're in my discussion. I got to tell you the truth. You're in my discussion.
Whoever's watching this, if you've never seen me before, I'm evolving. DB's evolving. We're not the same people that you saw in December, perhaps, in our debut at CCW. We're not the same people you saw in that triple threat match at GT Ministries a couple of months ago. We are different beasts. Certain events have happened that have caused us to evolve. And you're about to see that at Ready to Rumble GT Ministries.
Absolutely, no question about that. I'm behind on some comments, so let me work at least in a few more. We will have top tier behind you from Uncle Ralph. Mr. Barris also wants to say good luck to GT Ministries. Taylor Truth says, I'm really looking forward to it. I just hope I get my car sorted. So
I hope you don't.
Okay, well, fair enough. Let me get to the man behind Nonstop Action Wrestling. Of course, the head of Nonstop Action Wrestling, Mr. Joshua Snow, says, I don't know. That didn't seem to be the case when you faced off with the wild card Tommy Dillon, who, by the way, is going to be in the Rumble. Also,
Tommy Dillon in the Rumble is stacked. It's a stacked card.
And LRB, as impressive as you guys were, I guess that means I'm more than happy to have you both back at Nonstop Action Wrestling. So he wants you both back, I guess, basically.
Well, again, Josh, we're happy to do that. Like I say, it wasn't the case when we faced the Northern Warriors. That's right. I've never even heard of LRB before, and he brought the fight to us. And Tommy Dillon, we know each other very, very well, and we will meet many, many times before we finish in this business together. I'm very, very sure of that. But like I said, I drafted in another militia member, an honorary member in Caleb Jackson that night, and he did very, very well to say it was the first time representing. But I did not have this guy with me, DB Riley. We were not officially the working class militia. You were not the tag team champions. We did not bring these belts. It will be a different story. So like I said to you, Mr. Snow, speak to Mr. Barris, get the Northern Warriors ready. Whether it be August, September, October, it doesn't matter. They're probably going to need more time to prepare than we are, because if DB was right as rain, we'd fight him tomorrow. We'd fight him in the next 10 minutes. So make it happen. Speak to our people, and we'll get it sorted out.
I'll tell you what.
My mission, I'm sorry, Tom, but I'm going to tell you, my mission is GT Ministries. My mission is this Rumble. Now, Uncle Ralph said top tier there to support me, and that's fine, Uncle Ralph, and I appreciate it. But I'm coming alone that night. The only person I've got in my head is this guy here. Because like I said, I may not have took it as far. I may not have had to take it as far, and I may have finished it early or earlier against BMD if this guy had been in that building with me. He's my ballast. We're on the same page. Like you said, we have the same mind, the same goal, the same mission. And yeah, it's probably been clouded lately, and I admitted that on the live. We're probably have strayed away from our path. But as soon as this guy's back, we are back on track. And for me, this Rumble, even though it's star-studded and it's stacked, this is a nice little warm-up for when DB gets back for me. I want a challenge. I can't wait to see who's in that Rumble when I run in that ring. But whatever it is, every single person in that building will see fear in their eyes when they look and get across the ring at me. And I hope everybody's wearing brown trousers.
Well, certainly the Iron Maiden song and album Fear of the Dark very well could be playing, because something tells me here those who are going to be in the ring with Slugger Hampton could very well be fearful of the dark that the man of the working class militia and top tier will bring. He is one half of the CCW reigning, defending tag team champions. And Mr. Gareth Angel, he responds here to you. And you know I got to bring him up because he's at the top of the list when it comes to those who wouldn't think about GT Ministry. Says, I look forward to mixing it up with you, brother. We have known each other for a long time. See you on the 16th. So Mr. Angel has made it clear he hopes to see you in the Rumble.
Myself and Gareth Angel have known each other a long, long time. That's correct. And I maybe wasn't the beast that I am now. And I'm glad that we've never met in the ring up to this point. And I'm really hoping that me and Gareth Angel are in this Rumble, because although I do respect the man and he's done a lot in this business and he is a veteran as well, I'll give him that. I cannot wait to show the GT Ministries crowd what Gareth Angel is really about, because it's rare that they get to see him crawling on his hands and knees, gripping at someone's ankle, begging him for no more. Please don't do this anymore. And that's what they're going to see if I'm in the ring with him. We're serious now. I've been known the last couple of months. People have seen me at shows. They've seen the comedy slugger. That let's not take it too serious and have a laugh slugger. Let's make the crowd laugh. None of that anymore. This man here has shown me the focus and given me the focus I need. We're back on track. There's going to be no pandering to the crowd. If they want to cheer me, fantastic. They're supporting the best. If they want to boo me, to hell with them. I never needed them before. But I'm here to make an impact. It doesn't matter who's in the ring with me. I'm going to enjoy myself. 1, I'm going to hurt some people. That's 2. And 3, I'm going to win this Rumble, whether it's from number 2, when it's number 2 or number 29. No matter who's in there, I hope it's Disciple. Like I said, I hope it's Rarebit. I hope it's Gareth Angel. I hope it's Goliath. I hope it's Carl Kennedy. I hope it's Remus Kane. I hope it's Connor. I hope it's Young Horus, Leonie Rose, Tommy Dillon, whoever else I'm forgetting, Sean Only. It doesn't matter. I am unknown. That's dangerous. You should all be worried. I am not worried. You should all be worried. And if you're not worried, you underestimate me, it's going to be trouble for GT Ministries, because what me and DB do is we go to a company and we eat them from the inside out. And by doing that, we don't mean destroying a company. That's not our goal. When we get into a company, they start looking around and realizing, do you know what? The guys around us that we thought were the best in whichever company we're in are nothing more than absolute jokes compared to these guys. We legitimize every single promotion we go to. And this is not some grandiose heel speech about how amazing we are. These are facts.
It's a universal truth.
It's a universal truth. We are purists when it comes to wrestling and fighting in general. We live, eat, and breathe this. When people are in bed, we're up watching, studying, doing homework every single night. We have lost relationships due to our love of this game. We have lost family due to our love of this game. We have lost careers due to our love of this game. So we're up way past other people's bedtimes, leveling up. The amount of strings to our bow is incredible. People have not seen, we've not scratched the surface of what we can do yet, because we need decent opponents. And that's why we're latching on to the modern day Mafia, because they were decent opponents, and the educators were as well. They're just a different class of opponent. We wanted a fight. Joel Cobra and Dave Douglas gave us that fight. They've lit a fire up under our ass as well, because we want better competition. We want to raise these titles everywhere we go. We want to appear on every single show like yours, Tom, and thank you again for having us on here to spread the word of the working class militia. Yes, top tier. Yes, CCW. Yes, GT Ministries and whoever else we go to. But mainly the working class militia. This business is a dog or dogs eat dogs scenario. It always has been and it always will. You don't have friends in this business. You're very lucky if you have family in this business. And I do. But I have no friends. Especially when it comes to singles competition when gold is on the line. GT Ministries, 16th of July. I will see everybody there. Tom, I hope you're watching.
Oh, I'm going to be watching on
I'm going to say what I say to everybody. And I feel like I have to put this disclaimer out. We both have to put this disclaimer out. Before we go, I'm just going to say this, Tom. I'm sorry to the audience members and the people in the back for what I'm about to do in front of their eyes. People don't like watching grievous bodily harm. People don't like seeing actual bodily harm. People don't like watching car crashes, accidents, burning buildings, and people jumping from them. And the equivalent of all those things is what I do in the ring. I shock, surprise people. And I do take it too far. But in this business, you've got to. That's the reason we're sat here with CCW Tag Team Championships. That's the reason we've been Tag Team Champions in multiple promotions over the last 5 years of being together. And that's the reason we're sat here with you today. Tom Bryce, thank you for having us on. We've got to shoot off now because I've got a feeling I'm going to have to put some other baldy twat in his place.
Fair enough. Certainly, that's all fine and well. And I'll just run by quick comments here real quick. And an individual says, my money's on a guy winning possibly a certain Maverick. Taylor Truth says,
Bolton Town Wrestling. They're another company that's scared of booking the militia because they know what we're going to do to their tag team.
oh, they definitely are. They definitely are. And Mr. Kane says, I look forward to working at it as well. A devil, I didn't know devils look like unkept desert rat spinoffs. I know demons, boy, I live amongst them and have done for hundreds of lifetimes. Anything else you guys want to plug? I know you guys have to run and such. Anything you guys would like to plug or anything else before I know you guys have to run?
I feel like everybody knows where we're going to be the next couple of months. If you see us on a poster, if you see us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, there's a ticket available, buy that ticket. Do yourself a favor. Don't sit in and spend it on takeaway, making yourself fat. Don't sit in on video games, sending your brain to mush. Come and see the greatest tag team in Brit Wrestling today do their thing and be entertained by us and be in awe of what we do in front of your own eyes. We don't talk shit. We talk facts and universal truths, and we back them up. We'll see you at GT Ministries on the 16th of July. We'll be at Lampman's Lockdown. I don't know what I'm doing yet. That's the CEO's choice. I don't want to go into that right now. People know what's been going off, and people know that I had ideas above my station. And again, I will apologize for that. I would never do anything to jeopardize our spots in CCW. And we know where our bread's buttered. Tom, thank you very much again, buddy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, they have to run. We appreciate the time that the Working Class Militia have given us here on Sportswire Radio. We look forward to more coverage here of GT Ministries' upcoming Rumble next Saturday at the Fountains Church. We will have wall-to-wall coverage for that starting up this Monday, coming up here with NSAW Management, Richard Knights. We'll also have on Wednesday Remus Kane himself. He'll respond to some of these questions, and then we will have a face-off between Bentley and Disciple next Thursday. So they very well could be speaking about Sluggerhampton. Something tells me here Bentley and Sluggerhampton or Disciple and Sluggerhampton could certainly be a sight to see, plus much, much more coverage here of GT Ministries, CCW, and many, many other companies. So thank you, everyone. We will let the guys run, so we'll be back here tomorrow with LWF coverage and much, much more. I am the host of the Sports Report, the station manager here of Sportswire Radio, the Reverend